my successor about 7-8 years down the line, I asked him, how many units do you have now? He said 7. 18, 7, and in between they were, I suppose, even lesser. So that means the entire grid in Rajouri and Poonch, in the depth areas, was dismantled, was broken. And I am told at a time they did not even have troops enough to do ROPs, road opening parties. Similar was the case in Riyasi, similar was the case in Kishtwar, Doda, where there used to be 2 sectors, now there is 1. And then you are asking, why is this happening? You know, if you open gaps, the enemy will exploit them. I mean, today by satellite surveillance, everybody knows that the troop density has been reduced to a trickle in south of the Pir Panjal on the premise that, it had become totally quietened down, pacified. Yes, it was pacified. We pacified it. But with a strong presence of troops in the mountains, in the jungles. This is dense, mountainous jungle terrain. The most difficult terrain to operate in. Hundreds of troops can go and hide in those jungles. You won't be able to make out. We were told we don't have enough high-tech equipment. We want to cut manpower and have equipment. I'm sorry, that equipment will be of very little use in the mountains where you need foot infantry. All our battles are going to be in the mountains, whether in Ladakh, Arunachal, Himalayas or Jammu and Kashmir. And in such a scenario, to drastically reduce troops by the level of almost 2 lakhs is insane. Please get it. Is insane. And we are people who have fought in that same area. So we are telling you from our experience that you were inviting trouble, and now the trouble is upon us. Now you start blaming the army. Somebody else gave us those orders to cut troops and cut troops and cut more and cut more and more and more and more. And you've created a problem for yourself for no rhyme or reason. In any case, I will not cry over spilt milk. Where do we go from here? Number one, if you are short of troops, then you have to be offensive. Then you can't get down onto a defensive stance, reactive, defensive, firefighting on one side of the border, and we can't even look across the border. I mean, it's insane. Why is there a ceasefire on the line of control for the last 4 to 5 years? Why do we have such a attitude of friendship to Pakistan? We are not even calling their Prime Minister for our oath-taking ceremonies, very rightly, because it's a hostile nation. To say it is now we are too big, we just have to look after China, it's a bloody nuisance who will keep troubling you till you trouble, till we teach them a lesson. We started doing that in Uri surgical strike, we started doing that in Balakot airstrike. Why have we stopped? Why are we again becoming reactive and defensive? Do we have to take the permission of the United States of America to strike across the border? Put pressure on the Pakistan army? At least open fire on the line of control to curtail infiltration? Infiltration is happening. 50 to 60 new chaps have come in into the Rajouri, Poonch, Riyasi, Kathua, Doda, Kishtwar area. Wherever you had thinned out troops, he's trying to come in and take full advantage of the dismantling of the CI grid, dismantling of the intelligence grid. You dismantle things and then you send troops home. It's all over. It's going to be peaceful. I mean, says who? Pakistan, you give them an opportunity, they will take advantage. But in any case, I don't think everything is, so pessimistic. This is the time to get tough. This is the time we must, one, abrogate the ceasefire. Use artillery across the border to hit terrorist concentration, terrorist camps, holding camps, training camps, launch pads. Send raids across the border. We can use BrahMos cruise missiles to strike the Jaish-e-Mohammed, the Tiger Force so-called headquarters. We can be very offensive. We have got no dearth of air power. We've got the Rafales, etc., which are coming in now, which have come in fact. So we can hit back across the border and raise costs and consequences for Pakistan. Please don't be reactive. Please don't tie down your troops hand and foot. Firstly, cut their size, create gaps, dismantle grids, and then say, why is this happening? You asked for it. You asked for it, he'll give it to you. Right? Number two, the 1,80,000 troops that were cut must at the fastest pace, these gaps in our ranks and our numbers must be made up. This whole pernicious theory, this doctrine that, we don't need manpower, we only need technology. You need somebody to operate that technology. And in this debate, you have a trailer in front of your eyes. The Russia-Ukraine war, I keep saying, is Russia short of weapons and equipment? We are buying it from them. They're not short of weapons and equipment. They were short of manpower. They paid a price till they made up that manpower. So you must learn. You see, even if we have on some, erred in a particular way, you must be quick to learn on your feet. You can't now get stuck in an ego trap that we ordered reduction of manpower. To hell with you, you can keep dying. We will not revoke that order. I think it's time to fill up those manpower gaps. It's time to fill up those manpower gaps rapidly. We don't have much time. Number two, the Agniveer scheme is further diluting the operational efficiency of the army. It is visible. If it is not visible to you, you are blind. You are blind. Cutting costs is very good, and we must cut costs. We must have accountant generals sorting us out, but accountant generals can't be army generals. So we need to take a very, very deep relook. I'm told it is being done. Firstly, every year I told you 60,000 used to retire, 60,000 used to be recruited. I can't understand why the recruitment has been cut down to 43,000. People are not satisfied that they cut the army by 2 lakhs. Now every year we want to cut 17 lakhs down, 17,000 down. Every year. Are we nuts? Are you crazy? You have to fight in the mountains. Mountains eat up troops. To attack, we need a ratio of 10:1 in the mountains. In the plains, you need 3:1. Everybody knows that. But there are some newfangled people we have got. Theoreticians, paper tigers who have spent their entire lives in Delhi and Mumbai, air-conditioned offices, who are suddenly coming on to tell us that corporates don't fight and die. They try and make profits. We can't fight for the profit motive. We have to fight. The people have to be led to their death goals. You don't do it by curtailing their pay, by curtailing their leave, by making their lives as miserable as you possibly can in your desire to cut costs. So you cut costs, you cut your nose to spite your face. Please listen to your veterans. Any veterans, we have nothing to give or take from the government, but we are concerned about the army. I served this army for 37 years. I have seen so many good boys die. Your boys are the salt of the earth. They are from peasants from the villages. The army gives them a great career. Please don't destroy that career. I beg of you. Please don't destroy what you don't know and what you don't understand. The armed forces were the premier institution of this country. No reforms were done for the police. No reforms were done for the bureaucracy, for anybody else. But everybody went around, we will sort these armed forces out. They don't know how to fight. Which war have we lost? Apart from 62, where you were responsible. From the top to the politicians to the bureaucrats, you were also then cutting the army, and we paid a price. Haven't we learnt a lesson? God is on the side of the big battalions. You know who said that? Napoleon. Your natural advantage in India is your youthful manpower. For this youthful manpower, you have to create jobs. I can't understand why we are cutting the existing jobs. You forget, I mean, adding new jobs, fine, but you are cutting the existing jobs. You have more or less destroyed a career which every village boy used to aspire for. It used to give him so much respect. You see, now if there is a boy in the village, the simple fact is that why should he join the army? Where he'll serve only for 4 years and then he doesn't know what the hell will happen to him. If he joins the Delhi police, if he joins the BSF, CRPF, CISF, ITBP, he'll serve for 58 years. 58 साल 4 साल. So in the inter se, choice of careers, you put the army on the lowest. Last choice you made it. Great achievement. I congratulate you. But you are getting us killed. Dekhe, Mehbooba Mufti is now screaming her head off at the DG police. This lady, when she was the chief minister, there was a project Roshni. What was she doing? The terrorists used the Khads in Kathua, Jammu, Udhampur area, Kathua, Jammu area to infiltrate for alignment. Right? She started settling the Gujars, the Bakarwals there. She wanted to turn the demography of the Jammu region. Now these are very poor people. Firstly, they get frightened. If a Pakistani puts a gun at its temple, he'll be forced to do what he wants. Number one. Number two, he's poor. You give him 6,000 rupees, he'll gladly take it. He'll gladly take it. He doesn't realize the damage that is being done by these swines. So firstly, you do all this. You create an environment that promotes terrorism, that supports terrorism. You create an ecosystem and then you yell at the armed forces. So the fact of the matter is that the Pakistanis are shifting the emphasis south of the Pir Panjal. Does it take rocket science to understand that? And why is he doing it? Because he finds a dilution of troop densities, because he finds the CI grids being uncovered because of shortage of troops. He's taking advantage. It's as simple as that. The area where this has happened, Doda. I served in Kishtwar next to Doda. In my time, there used to be 2 sectors there. Right? Now there is 1 sector. My sector, which was in Kishtwar, has to now look after 2.5 times that area with the same amount of troops and some reduced troops. Quite obviously, you are putting those troops at a disadvantage. आप एक हाथ तो पीछे बांध ही रहे, फिर कह रहे लड़की नहीं रहा, लड़ रहा है, जो कर सकता है, he will do, and these boys will strike back. You'll see the same boys under pressure. You have done your best to, not give them a level playing field by cutting down their size, by cutting down their this, to please your bloody accountants. Well, they will still strike back. But give them, उनके हाथ खोलिए, and then see what they can do. Why should they only fight defensively? आप केवल ढाल से क्यों लड़ना चाहते हैं? अब तलवार का इस्तेमाल क्यों नहीं करना चाहते? इसी सरकार ने किया था सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक, हमने किया था बालाकोट एयर स्ट्राइक. So why have we stopped? That was enough for 200 years. He will keep troubling you, keep hitting. जब तक समझ नहीं आती, give him more of the same, kick him, raise costs and consequences. अगर हमारी यहाँ पे लाशें गिर रही हैं तो वो पंजाब पाकिस्तान में क्यों नहीं गिरनी चाहिए? उनके घर क्यों नहीं मातम मनना चाहिए? नहीं रक्षात्मक होके लड़ेंगे, अपने ही इलाके में लड़ेंगे। क्यों? वाई? पिछली सरकार ये करती थी, हम उसको कितना लोग गाली गलौज करते थे, कितना लोगों में आक्रोश था 26/11 के बाद, बिकॉज वी डिडंट हिट बैक अक्रॉस द बॉर्डर, वी सेंट डोसियर्स अक्रॉस द बॉर्डर. So we have learned from that. This government was doing very well. Why this change, I cannot understand.